One of the most common questions I get is, okay, I think I'd like to try this. I'd like to get a policy. How much should I start with? Well, first of all, I never tell anybody how much to start with because it's totally up to you. But I can give you a few guidelines or a few things that will really help you think through that. You want it to be something that's not so tiny that it never gets your attention and therefore you never use it. I mean, we talked about it in an earlier video. That's kind of the whole point behind infinite banking is most people's life insurance premiums are so tiny that they never use the policy. We want you to use the policy and learn how to use it properly. The whole key to the concept is learning how to use it properly. And if it's not big enough, you won't go access it and therefore you won't use it and therefore you won't learn. The only other thing I would say is probably about 60 to 70% of our clients come back and get a second policy within the first 6 to 8 months. And that's because there's this universal fear called fear of premium. And it's something that I have never seen a person start infinite banking and not be afraid of premium. There's always this fear, oh man, the premium is so big and I got to keep paying it, and what if I can't pay it? And it's just like for our whole life, premiums were something that we wanted to be lower. And the praying, we don't have to use the policy. So that's just something people have to get over. So the reason they come back for a second policy within 6 to 8 months is because they start using it, they love the ease of use, and they're like, oh, this premium isn't just money that's gone. I put it in, I take it back and leverage it and use it, and they're really enjoying it, and they're like, man, I want to do more. It's like, well, when you set a premium, you can put in a little bit more, but you can't put a lot more into that one policy. If you want to expand your infinite banking strategy, the only way to do that at that point is to get a second policy. Or even a third or fourth policy. And that's exactly what happened to me. I've got 9 of them, so just from expanding. So that's something to keep in mind. You don't want your first one to be so huge that it majorly stresses you out and you're losing sleep over it. We don't want that for anybody. But just keep in mind that 99% of people come back and say, this wasn't big enough, I need to make it bigger. Very, very, very few people come back and say, this was too big, this policy is too big, I need to make this smaller. Very few people.